Yo, once again, it's on back at you one more again. Real KENZ TV and the House Light Kitchen Sinks. I like to apologize for the view that you all may be. I've tried to go into the places that have the most shade, but it's like very, very sunny in Lexington, Kentucky today. So if you can't really see me, I don't really know. But if that shall be the case, then I deeply apologize. Sitting here reflecting, as I so often do. I do a whole lot of reflecting. And I'm thinking about all the times, all the situations that I've endured in my life. And so I'm in the penitentiary. This was in 2003. I never will forget this. I'm in the penitentiary. My first time ever going to the pen. Now, I had been locked up at that point for about 2 years. I'm sorry. Before I get into this afternoon's video story, if you will, I am the self-proclaimed Mr. 30 Minutes or Better. Meaning that any story or video that I drop is guaranteed to be at least 30 minutes long. 30 minutes or better. So if you're on your way to work, you're at work, you just don't feel like being there, as most of us typically don't. You're on your way home from work, you need to laugh, you need to cry, you need to lay down and take a nap. Perhaps you're trying to go to sleep at night, depending on whatever time you view or listen to this video. Or you're just in the mood for a good old-fashioned true penitentiary / true, being the key word, / real-life story experience is the channel for you. If you like the 12, 13, 14, 15-minute videos, absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But a real KENZ TV is 30 minutes or better. So with all that being said, with all that being wrapped into a nutshell, a big, big, big nutshell, there is a message. As I mentioned, 2003, I'm in the penitentiary. First time ever being in a pen. Been locked down like 2 years. Started out behind the fence. For you all that's not familiar with the Kentucky prison terminology, behind the fence is just another behind the wall. Lions, tigers, goons, birds, hyenas. People that have life sentences, people's never going home. People got 50, 60, 70, 80 years, 85%. Meaning they have to serve 85% of that time before they have a remote chance of going home. I was behind the fence, worked my custody level down, didn't get any write-ups, did everything that, I was recommended to do by the Department of Correction. See, in prison, we wait to go to prison to start being good. We wait to go to prison oftentimes to get a job, to, get our GEDs or get just education or, any sort of vocational trade, when we could be doing all of these things out on the streets. And then we send our certificates home. Look, Mom, look, Pops, look, kids or whatever. I got my GED. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But why do we have to wait to go to prison to do the things that we can do out here on these streets? They gave me a job because what ended up happening was I was in school. And so I was in vocational school, and I was learning the electrician trade, if you will. I was learning to be an electrician. A whole lot of book work. No on-the-job training, just book work. Formulas and stuff that you're never really going to use, geometry. Things that, not to say that you won't need any of those things while you're out on a job site and you have to do measurements, but the majority of those things you will never in life use. But at any rate, I'm going through the class, going through the process or what have you. And once I finished that, it took me about 15 months. Now, once I'm done, when I come home, I can what do you call it? I can get my journeyman's license. I find me an actual electrician. I'm like his understudy. I make $12, $13, $15 an hour, at the time, 2003. And then once I get the proper amount of hours and go through whatever I have to go through as far as being certified, I could be an electrician. It wasn't with me. Too many people was getting electrocuted. No, I wasn't with it. Shout out to all the electricians. You brave. We need you. We need all the electricians. But it just wasn't my thing. To be, keep it all the way real. I was just trying to look. I just wanted it to look better so that when I went up for parole, there was something that I had been doing as far as educational wise, because they want to know, what are you going to do when you get out? And so, well, I have my, I went to electricity school. I don't even know. It's not electricity school, but, I got my electrician vocational, if you will. And I plan to get out and do my understudy. And, yeah, you tell a lie, I tell a lie. That's just what it was. Really is how it really is. Most people are just trying to say whatever they need to say to get released from the penitentiary. Had no intentions whatsoever of being an electrician. But again, shout out to the electricians. I finished the school 14, 15 months. We're just going to say 15 months for the sake of me not having to say 14 or 15 months. But once you finish school, now you have to figure out, okay, what am I going to do next? Otherwise, they're going to make you a dorm janitor. They're going to, throw you in the, just a job that's less desirable. I finished school. I had applied for a couple other jobs. Now, mind you, when I say applying for jobs and working jobs in prison, back then, it was less than $30 a month is what you made. So, yeah, you're going to work your 6 to 8 hour shift, sometimes longer. But your state pay, which is what it's called in Kentucky, is going to be about $26, $27 a month. So for an individual that's not getting or receiving any money every month or every week or what have you, they don't have any family support, you get a check or you have $26, $28 deposited onto your account. It allows you to get some deodorant, get you a couple bags of coffee, get you some real toothpaste, because the things that they supply for you, like the prison I was in, they didn't even give you deodorant. They would give you state toothpaste. Terrible. So as I mentioned, you get your deodorant, you get your toothpaste, you get you a couple bags of coffee. You might be able to get you a case of noodles, a couple stamps. Then that's it. You have to make that last until the next month. And so, if you worked in the kitchen, you could make double that, about $55, $60 a month. I didn't want to work in the kitchen. I was trying to get into welding. I wanted to be I wanted to go through welding. Well, in the process, I was on a waiting list, and so they made me a dorm janitor. It's a gravy job. It's easy. You don't do much. Basically, at this time, you just make sure that the dorm is straight, the bathrooms are clean, wipe the toilet, showers, you keep the bathroom clean, the dorms clean the caseworkers' offices, the officers' booth or what have you. But it's very, very laid back and mellow at this particular time. They had me on third shift. I did not want to be. I'm not a third shift type of individual as far as working. I'd rather just get up, do my thing in the morning, or second shift, just get it over with, and then go, do whatever I want to do. Now, third shift allowed me to do whatever I wanted to do for the rest, for the early part of the day. But it's just like, man, 11 at night till 7 in the morning, 6 in the morning, I do not feel like going through this. Then you had certain officers that was cool, that, okay, you work for about an hour, do what you need to do, then you can go lay down. But then you always got those overburdened officers that, don't allow you to go back to your dorm and go to sleep, because we weren't in cells, we were in dorms. We had this one officer. She was cool. She was cool as a fan. To be honest, I do remember her name, but just out of respect of her and her family, and only out of respect for her and her family, I'm not gonna use her real name. So I'm just gonna make up a name and say Officer White. Officer White. She was short. She was maybe 5'2", probably weighed about 220. Actually, she looked like she might have been Mexican mixed with, white or what have you. But she was cool, man. Dark hair. Had to have been about 62, 63 years old. The sweetest lady. One of the sweetest, if not the sweetest ladies I've ever run across or met in my life, man. She was there just to get her a check. She didn't bother no inmates. None of that. She was just cool. I have been the dorm janitor for about a month at this point. I'm checking every day or every few days to find out, like, man, when y'all gonna give me another job, man? I need another job, man. I ain't trying to keep doing this janitorial, cleaning toilets. Yeah, somebody has to do it, don't get me wrong. But this is not what, I don't want to do this. Well, oftentimes in life, you have to do things that you don't want to do. So I get that. I'm a lot younger then, but I do get it. I'm checking every other day, every 2-3 days or whatever, waiting on another position, or actually not a position, but another spot in welding class to become available. Department of Corrections, they don't really care anything about you bettering yourself. The welding class ended up shutting down. So they finished the last class, so I was never actually able to enroll I enrolled, but I was never able to start the welding class, which prolonged my janitorial services duties, if you will, for about 2 more months. I'm working every night. Kind of got used to it. She's cool. I got my headphones or whatever. But I noticed she was extra friendly. The longer that I worked, the more she was, because like officers, they rotate dorms. But sometimes what they would do is, in this particular facility, if they knew an officer liked to work this dorm, they're not going to try to, ruffle any feathers. Okay, you like to work dorm C. This officer likes to work dorm B. This officer loves, so they would keep you pretty much in the same dorm if you didn't have a problem with being in that dorm. Third shift, everybody sleep, lockdowns at 11 o'clock. You got to be in your dorm by 11 o'clock. Actually, 12 o'clock. You can be on the phone till 12 o'clock. So it's really not a whole lot of work. You walk through every 20 minutes or what have you. Make sure the inmates is, at 12:30, 1 o'clock, your TVs were supposed to be off. This officer was so cool, it didn't matter. You can leave your TVs on. Like, just the coolest of officers. But I noticed she started to really, really get more and more friendlier with me. Started bringing me things. I never asked her for anything because I was always afraid of catching a write-up for indulging, I forget what the exact write-up that they call it, pursuing a relationship, that's what they call it. So I never really wanted, and especially this time, because I'd already been locked up a couple years, had another year or so or less before I went up for parole, so I didn't want to catch a pursuing charge, get locked up, they throw me in the hole, ship me somewhere, I'm in the hole for 60 days, now the parole boy, I go for parole, oh, you're pursuing our officers. So since you're pursuing our officers, we're going to give you another opportunity to pursue our officers. Come back and see us in 24 months. No, that's not what I wanted. So I'm very, very careful, man. I'm walking on eggshells when I'm around any female officer. Like I mentioned, she was about 62, 63, 5'2", 220, 230, 240, somewhere right around in that range. Now, all I'm doing is painting a picture. I'm not shaming anybody, body shaming. This is just what it was. She gets to asking me questions one night. I'm sitting in the office. Everything's done. Hey, let me talk to you. Sit on down for a second. Yes, ma'am. I'm not thinking anything of it. We're talking or what have you. I'm in my 20s. We're talking. Do you have any kids? These are the questions that officers are not supposed to really technically ask you. But again, she's 62, 63. I'm not thinking anything. Never heard anything about this officer. Just known her to be nice. Personality matters a lot with me. So if I'm pursuing a woman, yeah, you got to be nice looking. You have to have this and you have to have that as far as, physical attributes. But personality means a whole lot with me. Funky attitudes, I don't care how fine you are. I'm not hearing that. I'm not buying that. Because guess what? That body that you have and those looks eventually go away, right? So then what's going to happen? What's going to happen when you 45, 50? That body's not going to carry you through and allow you to, the things that you once got away with, it's not going to work at 50. But nevertheless, we're sitting there and we're, conversing or what have you. And would you like some coffee? Would you like, I brought in some donuts. That's how it started. I'm an inmate. I'm far from perfect. I'm an inmate. Yes, I would. You gonna offer it to me. Then it got to the point to where you bringing me breakfast sandwiches and, everything's cool. But I'm not even telling anybody because oftentimes in prison, man, when you got a good thing growing, the thing that messes it up is you telling people, and then they're going to tell somebody. Then it gets back to administration, and then boom, that person gets transferred, sometimes fired. So you don't, loose lips break relationships. So I ain't really say much. Matter of fact, I ain't say anything. Just kept it to myself. I'm eating nice. She's working the dorm 5 days a week. Breakfast sandwiches. Whatever she eats, I eat. Everything is cool. She brings her lunch or what have you. Everything is cool, but that's all that it was. Another night I'm sitting in the office talking to her. I'm just going to be honest with you, KENZ. I think you're an attractive guy. I like your mental. I think that you have all the tools to succeed in this world. I'm not concerned with anything that you've done in the past as far as that landed you here. We're just concerned with the future. And I want a shot at the title. Now, she didn't say it in those words as far as I want a shot at the title. But, I'm paraphrasing. I want you. I need you. And if I want you and I need you in the infamous words of Fleece Johnson, I got to have you. Oh, Miss White. Officer White. Oh. I'm flattered. I'm obliged. But this is not really what I'm about. I don't even want to, because I don't want to let her down. I want to let her down, like, respectfully. I'm just trying to get home to my family. I'm just trying to get home to, have another shot at life and being indulged in this sort of behavior. And that's just not anything that, it wouldn't be a positive look for me. Why don't kiss and tell? And again, she's not saying this. She's 62, 63. But essentially, it's what I don't kiss and tell. You don't have anything to worry about. I'm sorry. This is just not my... But then I got to thinking. My criminal ways got to thinking. My criminal mind... Well, if I tell her no, it's going to cut out all the food, the breakfast sandwiches, whatever she's bringing me in. I never, ever asked her to bring me in a bag. I never asked her to bring me a cell phone, anything like that. Most people would. I get it, but that's just not me. It's just not my personality. I tell you what, Miss White. You know what? Let me give it some time. Let me think about it. It's a big step for me, Miss White. I don't know if you I don't know if I mean, you're attractive and everything. Respectfully, you're attractive, and I understand that there's an age gap between us, but at the same time, personality just means everything to me. And I, you come in, you smelling good. I like the way that you smell. See, I'm getting to thinking about, okay, what can KENZ benefit from this? And again, this wasn't the right thing to do. Give me some time. Just give me some time. I'm going to get back with you and I'm going to let you know. But see, the whole time I'm banking on, okay, I have other job applications that I'm waiting to, I done applied for a culinary school, not culinary school, but horticulture, to where, you learn about landscaping and the grass and the flowers and plants and, nature. So I'm waiting on that. So I'm knowing that any given day, I'm going to be offered this janitorial job. So now I have a valid, I won't, really have to see her or deal with her like that. Horticulture school didn't come through fast enough for me. She gave me some time. She gave me some room. A couple weeks. I mean, what's up, Lex? I mean, she wasn't calling me Lex, but that's what they call me, Lex, KENZ, whatever you all want to refer to me as. In the pen, a lot of times what they call me, Lex, Red Dog Records. That was one of the two names that I used. Well, that they gave me, rather. I mean, I gave you some time. What's going on, man? I need you, man. I've been thinking about you. I've been having dreams about you. I want you. Miss White, how could we possibly make that happen? There's cameras everywhere. There's, how could we? I don't want you to lose your job. I don't want you to. I'm really trying to let her down, the easy way. But in my mind, I'm thinking, shoot, man. She can send me some of this money every week. It's commissary. I can get my commissary. I can stack my money up. Yes, criminal thinking. Yes, I was. I'm sorry, but that's what it was. But at the same time, I was not going to indulge or do anything physically, sexually with this lady that was 62 or 63 years old. Kind of stringing her along, to be honest. Kind of stringing her along because when I tried to let her down, she wouldn't allow me to let her down that way. I don't want to get you into any trouble. I don't want to, have you put into any sort of situation. Listen, Lex, I already got that planned out. All you got to do is boom, 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 boom. At this particular time, they come through because, like, you would have a sergeant that will walk through maybe twice a night throughout the shift, sometimes once a night. Like, she already had it planned out. You can meet me over here. We can go in this closet. We can do what we do. Nobody ever know. The cameras won't see us. Now, I've been locked up 2 years. So I want you all that's listening right now to jump in the comments and tell me, what do you think that I done in that particular situation? I'm trying to figure out how I wanted to bring it across. What would you have done? And what do you all think that I probably would have done, or the average individual probably would have done under those circumstances? You can meet me in this closet. Nobody ever know. As long as you don't say anything. I'm obviously not going to say anything. You've been locked up for 2 years, 26, 27 months. I know you need to get some things off, no pun intended. And we can do that. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to make sure you're good. Whatever you need. I'm going to bring you this food. What you need, money. I know inmates need money. When you come home, you'll have a place to go. She's not even knowing that I already have all of these things as far as somewhere to go. But, I'm, once again, you tell a lie, I tell a lie. So I'm listening. I'm acting as though I'm really, really intrigued, as though I'm really, really interested. Once again, I need more time to think about it. Because you never really brought it to me this way. Like, you done shot your shot. You doing the most, man. Meet me in this, let's get to this closet, man. And we're going to do the nasty. Wild thing. She want to do the wild thing with Lex. Lex ain't really trying to do the wild thing with her. Give me a couple more days. Let me think about it. And then I'm going to get back with you. I'm going to let you know. A couple days passes. Boom. The spot in horticulture. That's my cue. That's my excuse that I've been waiting on. Listen, Miss White, Officer White. Respectfully, I just want to go home. I don't want to do anything like this to jeopardize my, potential freedom, your job, anything like that. I understand. I took into account everything that you said. But respectfully, I'm going to have to decline. However, I know that you told me not to say anything to anyone. I know this. But I did. I said something to one person, and I didn't really break it all the way down, so I didn't put you out there. I didn't put your business all the way out there. But I have an individual that is going to be taking my spot, because, like, when you had a job, right, and you leave to go get another job, you could recommend somebody else and be like, hey, I got somebody to take my spot. And it's just easier for them to just put that person in your spot opposed to them, because they really go through, like, the whole application process, and they want to check your resumes and references and all of that stuff in the prisons to make $20-something a month. I put my dude on, right? I put my dude on, and it's just like, they call him Trick E. That's what they call him, Trick E. Trick E used to trick on the women on the street, so his real name is Elijah. But it's always going to be a nickname, Trick E. And that was really his real name, Trick E. I tell Trick E, about Officer White. He's all for it. Trick E comes in He takes my spot, you know what I'm saying, as far as like at night, the janitorial job, services or whatever. Everything's cool. I don't even really ask him anything at that point. Matter of fact, once I got into horticulture, they moved me dorms. Because horticulture, like, okay, the way that this campus was, it's not a campus, but the way that this prison was, it was set up like a campus. And so there have been so many complaints. Like if you were in horticulture, you was literally like a half a mile away. So they gave you an option of moving to another dorm so that you would be a lot closer. In the summertime, it wasn't that bad, but in the wintertime, and you right there by the highway, and the cars is driving past, and it's 5 degrees outside, and it's freezing. And I hated making that walk. So I ended up changing dorms. And plus, I knew that I wouldn't really have to deal, at that point, I wouldn't never have to deal with Miss White. Again, she worked third shift. Everybody sleep at that point, or, you know, I just wouldn't have to deal with her at this point. Trick E comes in. She's not feeling Trick E the way that she was feeling the KENZ. You know what I'm saying? Lex. She wasn't feeling him that way. But he's shooting his shot. Every opportunity that he gets, he's saying little stuff, waiting on her to bite. Now, he's not going overboard or anything like that, but he's waiting on her to bite. She's not biting. I guess all the mental, you know, the things that I'm telling him mentally, he's thinking about them. And, you know, Tricky, he had been locked up for a minute too. He had a 20-year sentence. Had to do 4 years before he seen the parole board. One night, Tricky said, man, enough of this. Enough is enough. He tells one of his other partners, comrades, or what have you, yeah, man, she's with it, man. She's, you know what I'm saying, she's feeling me or whatever. She really wants it, but she's playing hard to get. Two of his partners go down at about 3 o'clock in the morning. There's not a whole lot of cameras in this particular dorm. The dorm really needed to be torn down because it wasn't the safest dorm in the world. And it just wasn't cameras everywhere. And half the cameras didn't even work. They slide down in the office about 3 o'clock in the morning. They got masks on. The office door stays wide open. 3 o'clock in the morning, all the inmates are asleep, other than, you know, the night shift janitor. They slide in the office. They run in with masks on. They grab her. They get to... And I don't want to be too graphic, but, you know, these are the things that I was told that happened. Rip her clothes off or whatever. Actually, not rip literally, but, you know, pull her pants down. She's screaming. She's hollering. Can't nobody really hear. Because at this dorm, you got... Okay, when you first walk in, you got... let's see, you have 2 bays. A bay means like... A bay is just an area. So you have 2 bays. 12 people in you know, A bay. Then you got B bay. 12 people in this bay. Downstairs in the dungeon, you have your individual rooms. That's like the honor dorm or what have you. Then you can go upstairs. Then you got like 3 or 4 different bays. And then you have like a couple 2-man cells, what have you. So when they go into the office, they shut the door. Nobody can hear. She's screaming and hollering. Wanted to do, you know, they covering her mouth up or whatever. 62, 63 years old, man. They rip her pants down, pull her pants down rather, and violate her. Literally violate her in prison. She can't get to a radio or anything. There's no cameras in the office. Her screams go unheard. Nobody knows what she's going through in there. And they violate her. Both of them. One gets done, the other one. And it is so sickening. I don't care if she was a beauty queen. I don't care if she was a pageant. I don't care if she was no person, woman, Man, no person deserves to have to endure and go through something like that. They both violate her. And I'm going to tell you how stupid these fools were. When they get done, they go back to their dorm, wash off, take a shower, whatever, I guess get rid of the, clothes or whatever that they had on to, for DNA purposes. As though nobody would eventually know who did it. Once they got finished, obviously she was able to get on her radio, call, help, please help me. They come. Obviously, they bring the goon squad, E-squad in. Everybody's woken up. They checking, they questioning people, they're doing their investigations. Well, as one would imagine, they found out exactly, actually they found out who one of them, one of the sick perpetrators were. As one would imagine, he told on the next person. They were charged, convicted, and given additional time. Don't remember exactly how much time that they were given, but it wasn't enough time. They could have gave them 30 more years. There wasn't enough time. 50 more years. It wasn't enough time. 100 more years for the heinous act that they committed. It wasn't enough time. I believe they ended up getting like 10, 11 years in addition. Probably like a year in the hole. Lost all their good time, so you can't get your good time back. It was a non-restorable good time. But all of that wasn't enough for what Officer White had to endure. And I feel bad about the situation. Obviously, I didn't know anything like this was going to happen. I ain't having any clue that this was going to be the outcome of me saying, hey, listen, man, got a position for you, you know what I'm saying, as far as a janitorial job. Miss White, she's cool. She's looking for some, she's looking for someone to comfort her. I didn't know that anything like this would remotely be possible. Really have to watch who you hang with, who you tell things to. So for many, many years, I took part of that blame, responsibility. Even though I had no earthly clue that would happen, I still referred Trick E to this situation, to this job. Now, ultimately, he probably would have found out, but then again, maybe he wouldn't, because maybe she wasn't seeing Trick E the way that she was seeing me. I don't know. I can't really say. Doesn't seem like it. Why would you have to force your way? She was inviting me, and I turned it down respectfully. But the two of these individuals came up with a master plan, put on masks, and went down there and violated that lady. And again, I only got 10, 11 years in addition. They could have got 1,000 years, and it still wasn't enough time for what they did to her. And I believe now that I really, really reflect back, not only did they violate her, they assaulted her. They hit her a couple times. Because, she's fighting, and after it's all said and done, doing that throughout the course of things that was going on, I would imagine she's fighting. But afterwards, I think she hit one of them, and then, they assaulted her. One of them, at least, assaulted her. One of them does it. They both going to be considered guilty for doing it. And that was the nicest lady that I think that I had ever met in corrections. Obviously, she's on leave of absence. The prison is doing whatever they could do because they know that they're held liable. They know that they didn't protect her in the right way. There was no cameras. There was no, it was one lady in a dorm. And let me see how many people that dorm hold. It's probably, off the top of my head, it's probably every bit of 150 men in that dorm. I don't care if it's considered the honor dorm. I don't consider it's men in that dorm that haven't been around women like that in years and had an opportunity to, be with a woman in years. And they failed this woman. And now when I say they, meaning the staff, they failed her. They didn't protect her. Obviously, lawyers got involved. And she sued them for some millions. I know she got a couple million out of that. And when she did so, they couldn't fire her. She still had an opportunity to have her job. After that, who would want to work there again? Even though the money, she had money, but she wasn't, okay, the money was cool. But she still wanted to work, from what I understand. Who would want to go back into that situation, into that environment, and just walking into a prison itself? I made a video several months ago. I don't even remember what it's titled. I've made so many different videos. I can't remember all the titles. But it was basically based on, fellas, if your woman wants to work in a jail, penitentiary, no. Now, that's not to say that you control the woman, not to say you can tell her what to do, where to work at, but that's not for everybody. Certain women can go in there, and they're hardcore. They're never going to bite. But if you got a woman and she's nice, you know, she's nice looking, not to say that all women are not nice looking, but she has a pleasant, nice personality, not really mean-spirited, can't really stick to her guns, that's not the place for your woman to be working at. Because you got these guys, and they study the inmates all day, every day. Let's rewind that. We're going to manually rewind. You got these guys, and they study the officers all day, every day. They see what their habits are. If they're smiling one day, if they're frowning one day. Hey, how you doing? Now, obviously, it's not going to happen day one. I just noticed, you typically smiling. Is everything okay? I mean, I don't want to overstep my boundaries. I just noticed that you normally have a smile on your face, and the last few days, the last week or so, you've been coming in, and is everything okay? Again, I don't want to overstep my boundaries, but I'm always somebody for you to be able to converse and to conversate with. Don't hesitate if you have anything to talk about. Anything. I don't, no strings attached, anything like that, but I understand that life gets stressful. I understand some women bite. They bite off that. Well, it's just that I don't want to bother you. Ho, you're not bothering me with anything. I don't have anywhere to be. You're not bothering me with anything. Talk to me. Let me know what's going on. Well, it's just that I don't know. I just feel like my relationship is I don't want to trouble. Calm down. I just feel as though my relationship, my husband or my significant other, he's so wrapped up in, in his job or the PlayStation, or, he's always with his friends and he's not at home and I tell you what. Would you like my opinion? Because I'm looking at this both ways. And and that's how it all starts. The next thing you know, he got to doing, illegal things, bringing in phones and the bag and whatever else. And so it's best, fellas, that if your woman is trying to work at a jail or prison, that's not, no. Again, not to say that you're trying to control her or anything, but it's just not wise. And that's just my personal opinion. She ended up suing him, as I mentioned, got a couple mil. She didn't return back to that facility. I don't know ultimately where she went at. I wish I did know where she was at. The old me, not me now, but, the old me looking back in hindsight, and I know she came up on a couple million. Yeah, I wish I, found out where she was at, man. She was feeling me. She was feeling old Lex, a.k.a. KENZ, as you all know me by. And again, she was about 5'2", 220, 230, dark hair. She was a white lady, looked like she might have had a little Mexican in her or what have you. Shout out to all my amigos, absolutely no disrespect. And had a beautiful, beautiful personality. She wasn't really what I was looking for as far as physically, but it doesn't matter, because guess what? Somebody could look at me and I'm not what they're looking for, physically either. So it doesn't always come down to that. But again, in the infamous words of Hassan Campbell, watch your circle. Because you never know if your circle's going to hurt you. See, Tricky and I, we was cool, man. And I put him on to that. Again, not knowing that he was going to do this foolishness, this foolery. And he just totally went the opposite direction of where he should have gone. He already had a 20-year sentence. Then you throw this on top of it, made it a 31-year sentence. From what I know, I never really spoke with him again after that because I was so mad. If I seen him, man, we was gonna throw him up. And whatever happened. Trick E wasn't no little dude, man. Trick E was, every bit of 4. Matter of fact, we worked out together. He's 400 in the weight pile, press pause and 400 on the bench press. Big old calves, pause. He was just a big dude. Black dude, bald head dude. You know what I'm saying? Had a big beard, cool. Soft spoken, laid back, didn't bother nobody, but then nobody bothered him. Real KENZ, how tall was I don't know. I'm not going around looking at people's height and measuring. He was 5'11". He was 5'11". Because you all going to say he was 5'11 anyway, even though he may have been 6'2". He may have been 5'9". You all, the viewers, are going to say that Trick E was 5'11". So guess what? We're going to roll with that narrative. Trick E was 5'11". Real KENZ TV. Hopefully you liked the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action, this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. They're not sending out all my notifications. Fret not. Don't worry about it. Just check my channel every day about this time. 6, 7, 8 o'clock, 5:30. Depending on how the internet wants to work that day as far as the Wi-Fi. And you guaranteed to see a new upload. Maybe not 7 days a week, but at least 6 days a week. Real KENZ TV, man.